Hello, everybody. Welcome to Joe the Lawyer. Today, we're going to look at the latest from the Derek Chauvin trial. This article, Derek Chauvin trial live, 7 jurors now seated as Minneapolis announces $27 million settlement with George Floyd's family. We're going to run through this article, and then I'm going to give you 3 points to think about, 3 points of analysis on this article. Thank you for joining me. I'm Joe Pometto, a Pittsburgh attorney. I do criminal defense. I analyze the legal news with an objective and interesting basis. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Let me know what you think about the new setup and overlay that I have for the show. And yes, I'm channeling Nick Rakita, who has a similar overlay. Thank you, Nick, doing something similar here because it looks great on your show. Now, before we jump into the content, everybody raise your cup, your glass in the air. You know, when you're doing a show with me, we do the same time sip. It tastes better when we sip together. Cheers. I hope you sipped with me and enjoyed that sip as much as I did. So let's dig into this article here. Out of Minneapolis, another juror found a seat Friday in the murder trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, as the city agreed to pay $27 million to settle a wrongful death lawsuit with George Floyd's family. Given the circumstances of Floyd's death, a black man dying under the knee of a white police officer, the racial makeup of the jury is a key concern. Court wrapped up Friday with 7 jurors seated thus far. 4 of the jurors identify as white, 1 as multiracial, 1 as Hispanic, and 1 as black, according to Hennepin County District Judge Peter Cahill, who is presiding over the case. 6 of the jurors are in their 20s or 30s, and 1 is in her 50s. Chauvin's attorneys have struck at least 3 jurors who are Hispanic throughout the week, something that spurred prosecutors to twice use Batson challenges. Such challenges claim that a potential juror was eliminated on the basis of sex, race, ethnicity, or religion. The judge denied both challenges and rebuffed the notion that the jurors were excluded on the basis of race. And when I do my analysis, we're going to talk about exactly what a Batson challenge is. Meanwhile, Cahill allowed prosecutors to reinstate a third-degree murder charge against Chauvin, something legal observers say will give the juries more options as it considers the former officer's culpability in Floyd's death. Now, I did a prior video on them adding the third-degree murder charge. I think that's the most likely charge for him to be convicted of. Watch my prior video to see why I said that. The charge accompanies the second-degree murder and manslaughter charges Chauvin already faced in Floyd's death last May, when Chauvin was seen on video kneeling on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes as Floyd cried out that he couldn't breathe. Floyd, who was accused of using a counterfeit $20 bill, was handcuffed and pinned to the pavement. There were also some updates. Let's take a look at these updates. Court was expected to resume at 8 a.m. Central Time Monday. This video is being released over the weekend, so we'll see what happens Monday. Minneapolis on Friday reached a $27 million agreement with George Floyd's family. The city council unanimously voted to approve the settlement, and Mayor Jacob Frey was expected to sign it, according to city officials. The court seated its 7th juror Friday afternoon. The woman, a single mother of two in her 5, said the woman, a single mother of 2 in her 5. I'm not sure what that means. Said she works in the nonprofit world and has previously interacted with Minnesota's Attorney General. Angela Harrison, George Floyd's aunt, was the Floyd family representative in the courtroom Friday. Cahill and lawyers over the week have asked potential jurors about their previous knowledge of the case, whether they've seen it on the news, and how they responded to a 13-page questionnaire. Well, let's be honest, everybody has seen this on the news. It's shaping up to be one of the biggest trials of this decade, dare I say of the century. We're only a short way into the 2000s, but this is the biggest trial of the century, perhaps the biggest one since the O.J. Simpson trial, in my own humble opinion. So a few points here. Number one, 7 jurors, 4 white, 1 black, 1 Hispanic, 1 multiracial. I agree with the analysis from this article that the racial makeup of the jury is going to be key. This is a highly racially charged case. So I want to tell you, 4 white, 1 black, 1 Hispanic, 1 multiracial is not that unusual for a metropolitan area. What you have to recall is that jurors are pulled from the county. And this means in the United States, most counties are majority white. So, for a metropolitan area like Minneapolis, if you get a half white, half half non-white jury, that is probably more diverse than most juries are. And, I'm not going to sit here and say whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's the way things are, because the juries are selected. It's a jury of your peers, and it's selected from the county-wide population. The average juror in Allegheny County, where I work, is like a 50-year-old something white woman, because the other thing you have to remember is that jurors can get out of jury duty for all kinds of different reasons. So they may have to work. They may have some sort of essential job. They may be caretakers. And, for whatever reason, in our society ends up being a 50-year-old white woman in Allegheny County. Now, rural counties are generally even more white. So the prosecution in this case is likely trying to seat non-white jurors, because they are representing the interests of George Floyd in a way. He's the victim here, okay? And they believe that non-white jurors will be more sympathetic, whereas the defense wants more white jurors who may sympathize more with their white defendant. But don't be deceived. I mean, race is important, and it's something that everyone can see. But don't you never know with people. That's why you get to ask questions and go through the voir dire process. The attorneys get to. Now, the next point, the defense struck 3 Hispanic jurors. Prosecution made Batson challenges, claiming that the strikes were unconstitutional because they were race-based. And I am reading off some notes here. So Batson v. Kentucky is a 1986 landmark decision from the United States Supreme Court, ruling that a prosecutor's use of a peremptory challenge in a criminal case, the dismissal of jurors without stating a valid cause for doing so, may not be used to exclude jurors based solely on their race. Now, a peremptory challenge is a challenge that an attorney can use to strike a juror without providing a reason. So in a circumstance where one party or the other wants to make a Batson challenge, okay, they're going to have to say, oh, that attorney excluded that person based solely on their race, all right? And what the attorney who actually struck the person can do is during voir dire, they're going to be able to ask this person questions. And all they really need to do is get that person to articulate a couple of perceived biases that would make them impartial. And then they can use that to react or counter the Batson challenge, and then a judge is most likely going to support the party who made the strike, right? So you strike a person who may be a person of color. The other party says, oh, Your Honor, he only struck that person because that person is of this color. That's the Batson challenge. But then the other side can articulate something, can say, no, this person said that he hates all police, or that he doesn't trust law enforcement, or he doesn't trust the system in general. That is the way that Chauvin's attorneys likely would respond in this situation. So, the judges did not find that the Batson challenges were sufficient to say that Chauvin's attorneys struck the jurors based solely on race. So that's kind of a point of high contention. I can see here why the prosecution did challenge these. Again, everything in this case is going to be about race, which is not necessarily the case in a lot of other trials. So all the attorneys here need to be hyper aware of that issue. The prosecution, probably was smart to make these challenges, okay, just in case something was there, but also to protect their case on appeal, protect the case on appeal. So, that's interesting. We'll see if more are made. I have a feeling the way this is shaping up, this isn't rocket science here. You got 4 white jurors, 3 jurors of color. I think we might be looking at like a 50-50. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, 4 and 3. At the end of the day, with 12 jurors, it might be very close. 6 white, 6 people of color, 7 white, 5 people of color. That's the way I think it's going. Finally, my third point, the Minneapolis City Council paid out $27 million to the family of George Floyd for his death in a settlement. How do you put a value on a human life? How do you put a value on a human life? I will say, comparing this to many other settlements, this is a high number. I used to do asbestos litigation, and people would contract cancer caused by asbestos, mesothelioma. They would pass away, and the number usually was not 27 million. It was about, you'd see anywhere from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 or 12 million. 27 million is a high number here, just in the world of lawyers. So I just want to point that out for everybody. Again, putting a number on a person's life is a horrible thing to do, but it's something that lawyers have to do all the time, unfortunately, and 27 million is a big number. Considering, I'm putting this out there, take it for what you think, considering the publicity on this case, I do think, and I think, 50 million may be fair. 50 million may be the fair number in this situation. This is a high number amongst attorneys. There's a lot of publicity on this case that may have played a role in the decision that Minneapolis made, though I can't put a price on a human life, and a lot of money is likely deserved. So I hope you enjoyed this analysis today. Thank you for tuning in to Joe the Lawyer. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. I'm going to break down the news in an objective way. I'm going to give it to you from the perspective of a lawyer, and hopefully you learn something at the same time. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000. I am almost there. I love you guys. Peace out.